What's good, everybody? My name is Benji. I'm a DP from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and today I wanted to do a breakdown of some scenes in this short film I just shot called Caged. Sorry, y'all gonna have to deal with my allergies today because it's springtime and they going crazy. So this was another no-budget shoot, but it was black and white and 4x3, so I couldn't say no. So briefly, just wanted to go over gear. We shot this on my A7S3 with a 35-18, 85-18, and a 20mm 1.8. And I think I stuck on a Glimmer Glass 1 for the whole movie. It might have been a couple scenes that went down to a half, but pretty much it was on a 1 most of the time. So originally we was going to shoot on some old 16mm glass, but just trying to get it all to work. The lenses were literally like this big for some of them, so we couldn't get the follow focus of the matte box on some of them. I posted some stills on the Discord a while ago, and somebody brought up the point, and they're like, well, define no budget, because you said no budget, but here you got a menace arm and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it truly was a no budget thing. We got audio gear from my old university, and then had my girlfriend run audio. Shout out Jim. And then between me and the director, we had my two 200Xs, a couple light mats, a Godox 160, I think. And then we had a little LED tube we used for some close-ups. And then I also rented a menace arm from John Houde, but I helped him with some gear drop-off a while ago, so he ended up just letting us use it for free. Shout out Houde. And then the last piece of gear I wanted to touch on was the Accsoon Cineview SE, which is a wireless video transmitter. This was super clutch because it was a lot of shots where Charlie, the director, would not have been able to see if we didn't have it. So just having that freedom of having a wireless video transmitter, and then me being able to do what I need to do on camera, and he can just be somewhere off tucked in the corner looking. Not to spoil too much, but if you want to win one of these, stick around to the end of the video. And then all the actors were just our homies that we had, and the crew was just the homies. And then lastly, locations. We were able to get other locations free, thank God. We used one of the homies' houses. We used a church that had a wrestling ring. And then for the gas stations, we went to 5 or 6 of them. And then finally just found one that let us film outside. If you ain't seen the short yet, definitely go watch it. It'll be the first link in the description, and it actually came out pretty good, so give it a watch. So day one of shooting, we did this bathtub scene, and it's called Caged because the whole thing is about how Ashad, the main character, is kind of trapped by his environment. And I wanted to establish that visually, so I shot through the door frame to kind of give it that entrapped, closed feeling. For lighting this scene, all we had was two 200Xs on a combo stand shooting into the room this way. And they were hitting like the sink and stuff over here, which kind of came back and bounced and gave him a little shape on this side of his face. And by the way, I had no gaffer for this shoot. It was literally me, Charlie the director, a sound person. Yeah, that's it. Cause Kayla, the art director, was doing something else, so she would just kind of drop in and drop stuff off and then leave. So it was 3 crew and then the actors we had. But I really love this shot because I feel like it establishes what the movie's about within the first scene. And you know, if you can do that visually, then you did your job as a DP, so. And then after that, we threw in the 85 and got this close up. So the only thing different I did was I put in a black blanket on this side to try to take some of this bounce down because it was pretty flat on his face. And then the other thing I did was shoot that 1/6 Godox 1/6, whatever it's called, Godox 160. And I shot that into the ceiling, and that just raised up the level a little bit more because with camera I was kind of blocking the bounce that he was getting from the 200Xs outside. I know it seems like these setups are pretty simple, but again, we had literally 3 crew members, so everything took 5 times longer. And then this shot was the exact same setup as before, just had that 160 bounced into the ceiling and that neg on camera right. And then this one's the same setup as before. We just had those 200Xs finally hitting them. And by the way, God bless with a cloudy day, because if it was sunny out, these 200Xs would have been doing nothing. But I really like this shot. You get the hard backlight, and then you also get this bounce from it hitting the wall. Yeah, we kept pretty much everything the same for this stuff. I might have dialed down the intensity on a couple things, but I think we kept it pretty much the same. And then this shot was all natural light. The only thing I had to do was just pull my focus to get it to hit the car right there. and then make sure it landed back on him when it drove off. I don't know, I love that shot. The camera movement in it just makes it feel like your whole world is crashing. That's what it's supposed to be feeling like. And then this bridge stuff, same thing. On natural light, we just used 35 for this shot, and then an 85 for this shot. Charlie was actually out getting something for the last scene we needed. So this was just me and Ashad and Sam, who was running sound. I just did my best to kind of make every frame mean something and not just shoot something because it looked cool. So this one of my favorites, is because it's so wide and so focused on everything else, which is not that interesting. You know, you got some apartments and then a tree and then what, like a light pole? You know, it's nothing crazy to look at, but yet again, he's just in the corner, small, and feels like he's not really adding nothing to it. That's one of my favorite things about this movie is I feel like there's not a lot of dialogue unless it needs to be said, and most everything else is just shown to you, not told to you. And then after that, we went and shot this ending scene, and you kind of see that it's moving, but we literally had Charlie and Sam holding up the fence post to try to make it feel like he was walking up to a real fence. And this is just at a river we found. And we shot this just after sunset, so it was at 12,800 ISO, and all this stuff was shot on the 35. So day 2, we was at this church, which had the wrestling ring in it. So we got this tracking shot, and then all we did for this one was we got a tube light, and we just shot that this way, so he had a little bit of level on him. I forget, y'all can't see my hands. What am I doing? This way. And you kind of see it in his eye right here when he walks by. And I was just giving him a little bit of level. And then we also turned one of the stage lights, which we was using for the wrestling scene, which I'll get to in a minute. And we shot that into the ceiling just so he had a little bit of ambient. And this scene was super simple. We just turned all the lights off. And then I boomed a LED panel overhead through some quarter grid. And then this shot was on the 35 and this was on the 85. And again, because we had pretty much no crew, I really just tried to focus on the compositions and make those really strong because there wasn't a whole lot we could do with lights. So after we got that stuff, we moved into the wrestling ring. And this is the big setup. So you can kind of see we got 2 of these lights for edge lights, and one was a 200X and the other one was the Godox 160. And then the key for this was a 200X with a softbox and a grid on it. And this was boomed overhead with the menace arm. So Charlie told me that he wanted it to look a lot like Raging Bull for this fight scene. I'm gonna just let a little bit of this play for you. I think it came out pretty good. I really like the contrast that the lighting gave. Honestly, the only thing I would have changed in a perfect world was turn on these backlights. While it looked good, I think it was a little much at times. And I would have either raised them up higher or mounted them to the ceiling so it looked just a little bit more like stage lights and less like film lights. And then one really important thing was while they were choreographing, I tried to tell them if they could stay on the close side of the ring so that way the light would be more backlit and less toppy or fronty. That's really what helps to give it this 3D pop look, because in some parts they would get on the other side of it. Let me see if I can find one. You can kind of see on this one they got more to the far side of the ring and the close side of the key, and so it's a lot more toppy and really more flat. But most of the scene they did a pretty good job staying on the close side of the ring. And that's one of the challenges with black and white, is it really gotta make sure that you lighten intentionally, because you don't got things like color contrast to help pull people out of the background. You really just got light, you know, you got the one color monochromatic. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think it helped make me more intentional with the way I lit things. And this is one of those scenes where the wireless monitor really came in clutch, because there was just no way that Charlie was going to be able to follow me around on this mat and be able to see. And it definitely helped him be able to direct the actors and the camera. The last shot we did was this tracking scene, and we pretty much just turned off all of our lights and then turned on this little concession booth thingy, so that way they would have a key coming from that side. So day 3, or really night 3, I think we went to 5 or 6 different gas stations before we finally found one. But I really love the lights that this one had. It's got all these tube lights out in front, and then it's got these nice little can lights up and down here. But I don't know, as far as gas stations in the hood, I thought this one looked pretty good. And I think we shot this entire night on a 35. And again, there wasn't really anything we could do lighting wise, so I just tried to pick my angles and compositions carefully. And this is one of my favorite shots of the whole movie. I just love like them running away into the shadow. And then we tried to see if we could get an inside scene anywhere, but none of the gas stations would let us, and it was getting late. We had went to pretty much everyone on that side of town, so we just kind of left it, and Charlie figured it out in the edit. This is probably the most fun I've had on a project in a while, so it was really dope just to be able to go out and make something with your friends with no pressure and no client you gotta worry about making happy. As always, if y'all got any questions, leave them down in the comment or shoot me a DM on Instagram. Now for the real reason you clicked on this video. So Accsoon sent me one of these just to keep and shoot with in my personal kit, but I liked it so much that I had him send me another one so I could give one away to y'all. And they're not paying me or giving me extra money if I say nice things about them. And I really do think for the money, you're not gonna get a better wireless video system. It's got a 0.05 second delay, which is not as fast as something like a Teradek, which is like a 1 millisecond delay. But the new Teradeks cost over $2,000, so it's kind of to be expected. And these only cost $650, or free if you win. It's got a range of 1,200 feet, and it takes HDMI and SDI, which is really good depending on what your camera has. It also sips power, which Teradeks eat up power like crazy. And this one you can run off a single NPF battery like almost all day. It's also really reliable. I've never had any problems on shoots. I'm having to repair these or reconnect or anything like that. And again, they're not paying me to say anything, but I did just want to let y'all know you're getting a good quality product for the money. If you'd like to win one, there's 2 ways that you can enter. The first one is liking this video and then commenting down below what you'd use it for and how it benefits you. And if you'd like an extra entry, share this video with a friend or a family member or just on your story on Instagram and send me a screenshot of it. Either way, please make sure to leave it where I can contact you on there, whether it's Instagram or email, just something so I can get in touch with you. Either way, I'm really excited to give this away. It's been such a help to my workflow, so I'm really excited to bless somebody with that too. I'm going to be announcing the giveaway on here and on my Instagram, so follow or subscribe to one of them so you can stay updated on that. As always, if y'all got any questions, leave them down in the comments or reach out to me on Instagram and I'll get back with you. I appreciate all the support and all the kind words from y'all. Alright, love y'all.